going berserk over here. We're freaking out. It's a dog. It's a dog. It's guts, but it's a dog. It's crazy.
It's dog guts. Yeah, true.
This was the trickiest volume to read for me because the Calgary Public Library doesn't have it. It has all the other ones, but this one was no good, and I don't know why.
This is one I had to give you. I had to send
you sent me a file. I couldn't figure out how to open it on my computer, so I had to use this Android tablet we have where Brittany has this app. But I've read it. I've read it twice. Okay. It's the trimmest volume. I was going into it a little bit, just being like, oh, is this one like crazy? Like, is there just... Because it's going to be inside Casca's memories. This is just the most explicit, gnarly Eclipse content ever made. Is that why the library is like, you can't carry this? This is pornography. You can't have it.
Yeah, that's where they... Because when we left off, they were kind of getting to like the meat of her like
the
mental
deepest,
block.
darkest corner. The thing that unmade her. So she's like, oh, this is going to be so crazy. And whatever, it's there's some dick monsters in it, but it's not.
There's always dick monsters.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I've seen crazier dick monsters in this manga, so I don't know why it's not.
You ever play Persona? Jesus.
I have. Yeah. So I don't know why the library was all prudish about this one, but they were. So oh well. But I've taken a look at it. It's short. It's like 100 and some pages, 148 or something.
It is. The reason being because Muriel was dying. This is released in 2018 in Japan and 2019 here, so we are right in the middle of him literally dying.
All right. Well, I won't hold it against him. That's tall orders. So okay. Pretty key story. There's some important stuff goes on here. And I'm almost glad I read it twice because my first time through, I had a very like crabby reaction to the second part. But this time I was able to find some more things to enjoy. So we'll get there eventually once we get there. But so I'm Nathan. This is Paul, and we're gonna relay our readings here.
We're gonna go berserk.
So Farnese and Shirka are inside the mind place of Casca, who's a little kind of impish thing in there. There's like a tiny little representation of Casca, and there's this kind of broken doll that they're piecing together by finding her memories, very video game style.
Collecting pieces of the doll to put her back together and make her whole, essentially.
Yeah, and the last memory is there. It's the Eclipse memory. It's all the bad stuff that went on. But to get there, they kind of have to fight their way through a bunch of representations of various monsters and demons, obstacles, a bunch of dicks,
both literally and metaphorically.
Very explicitly, like that's barely obscured, it's like you're looking at Superbad, like Seth's drawings or something. Like it's very...
Dude, whatever. Those dicks literally like spray a weird fluid out of them as an attack. So like, no.
It's not subtle about it. It is. It's just how it is. But it's a nice opportunity for Shirka to use all of her magic stuff again. Like we get another glimpse of the rotting root lord, which is nice. I like that guy.
And the golem comes back too for a little bit as well.
Golems come back, the big flame wheel, all the hits. Shirka or Farnese kind of remembers like, oh wait, we need a wind thing for this, and then she has like a representation of Serpico's cloak, and it does some stuff and talks and whatever. I will say I felt the stakes of this was a little wobbly for me because it was sort of, I've never seen that movie with Frankie Muniz where it's like if you die in the game you die for real, Stay Alive, that classic from 2006 or whatever. But they sort of suggest that here of just like, wait a minute, if we die in the dream we could be killed. Like I don't know what the rules are. And that's just kind of there to kind of set up some tension for these fights that aren't really happening. But even so, I just felt like, this is all just kind of fronting or whatever. Like, I don't really feel like Farnese and Shirka are in any real jeopardy here. So we're just kind of going through some battling for battling's sake a little bit. I don't know.
Sure.
It wasn't
fair.
my favorite fighting or anything. Although I guess I did enjoy the greatest hits of their spells and everything. But even that seemed like kind of loose. It was just like, oh, I've used all my fetishes. I guess we're boned. And then later they're just there again because it's a dream world and who cares?
Oh, dude. One of the fetishes, though, is literally Mozgaz's face that turns into this giant totem that spits out chains. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and they actually use it as just a platform to stand on at one point, too. It's like, oh, I need a giant block-shaped thing. Oh, wait, I have this. And then, all right, great. So,
oh, man, it's so good. It's such a video game. It's so dumb.
It's pretty silly, but it's all working towards something I've been wanting to happen for, decades or whatever, I guess at this point. Relatively speaking. For us, it's like a year or whatever. But, like, the return of Casca is in the cards here. Like, that's what they're trying to accomplish. So I want that to happen. But, yeah, just the way we get there is a little goofy. But, that's just how it goes. Hold on.
Yeah. It's kind of too bad that they keep having to drag around the casket too, because I was kind of thinking like, oh, they have mini Casca now. Like maybe they'll collect the stuff and that'll be enough. It's like, no, we got to drag around this heavy ass thing.
Yeah. Because the doll is in there. And that's mostly what the Guts dog is doing, like the kind of representation of Guts in that world is this ferocious dog. With the same kind of eye and missing limb and everything.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so they go through a series of kind of little fights against these weird creatures. And then I guess the Guts dog is fighting a hawk at one point. Like it's kind of a, echoes of reality thing.
There's like the giant looming hawk that's kind of like covering the sky like a shadow hawk or whatever. That's obviously Griffith's representation, or Femto maybe specifically.
And I guess for as I was like, oh man, we're going back to the Eclipse stuff. It's really not that gnarly like this time around. You don't get a lot of the worst business that went down revisited exactly. But yeah, the little Casca is kind of trembling and scared and stuff, but they're kind of talking to her and just like, hey, don't worry, we're here to help you. And they do. They get there. They find the thing. Oh, Flora steps in to help them in a pickle, right? Like Shirka's...
So first of all, one of the fetishes is Guts' armor mask, and that takes over the dog, and he becomes like actual berserker dog.
Berserk dog. Yeah.
That part's so sick, though, because he starts, like, just actually fighting things, and you're just like, oh, man, Guts is here. It's so good. He's doing the same moves, too. The weird, like... So this is kind of, like, the deep cut, but if you know, you know. He's doing the Artorias, like, the, like, flip slam with his sword that, like, Guts kept doing or whatever. And he's doing the same thing because he's a dog, and he can't really do anything else, honestly.
Oh, sure. Like, yeah. And yeah,
like a front flip with a sword slam,
with a blade in your mouth.
Yeah,
you're right.
The blade is his tail though in this, if I remember, because it's a dream.
Oh, it's a dream. So sure.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't remember him just having the sword. So yeah. I guess he's just bladed up with the armor.
That was cool though. I like seeing the hawk and dog fight each other.
I'm trying to remember what it is that's too much for them that they need to invoke Flora or whatever, or talk to her and have her come, because
they get stuck in a bunch of brambles that are like on the way to the apex of the mountain, the hill or whatever they're going to, and they keep getting overrun because they're like coming alive and turning into like monsters. They're basically completely flooded by shit,
and that's where they're almost tapped on, like, oh no, we're like all our golems are out and everything, we're in trouble. And then Flora appears and it's like, remember I said you could talk to me in dreams? And it's like, oh wow, great. And then yeah. So
she's like a fire elemental or something. She like just kind of whooshes them all away.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember who. Oh, the rotting root lord attacks those dick monsters and kind of decays them or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was okay.
The dick monsters are hilarious because their arms are dicks, their body's a dick, their head's like it literally is like you said, like Jonah Hill's character from Superbad, just like
it's all monsters. I can draw. I don't know why.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's a lot, but okay. Oh yeah, I wrote down dog berserker screw attack on here. So
yeah, there you go.
We're alluding to the same bit.
Yeah.
But okay.
That's it.
Oh, okay. So yes, they get the final memory. The second time around, I appreciated like mini Casca has a little wave goodbye as she enters the doll to like reanimate or whatever.
Sure.
Which was a cute little moment. And then we get to like the big thing where like they're done with the dream world. Everybody's waking up, and Casca is finally Casca again, for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
And they keep it pretty light. She doesn't say a lot of stuff, but she just talks about remembering everybody. And I actually was like kind of like, oh wow, I didn't think they like Mira would keep this logic too, because we were kind of talking about Elaine past the point where it's just like
if they were like if Casca was stuck in there, or if it's like a different entity. We had this conversation.
Yeah, we were kind of just to help us differentiate, referring to her as Elaine still. And it's like, oh no, that's how Casca was seeing herself too. She was like this different person, and everything was really vague and far away and distant or whatever. But like, yeah, she was effectively Elaine for all of that time. But she still has memories of those people and is talking to Shirka and Farnese about her, recognition of them and whatever. And what is the elf maiden's name again? Like the ruler of that island?
Oh my god.
Elfhelm. Yeah.
You know what? I never wrote it down. I can look it up real
It's in the
quick
intro of every volume, but regardless, like she kind of decks her out in a dress. It's just like, hey, this is more romantic, and just kind of makes her appear in like this Disney gown, which is weird, but whatever.
Yeah.
And Shirka and Farnese are kind of complimentary about it. It's like, no, it's fine.
Danan,
okay.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. She kind of makes a wardrobe choice for Casca. And then the big thing they're almost immediately talking about is like, oh, you got to meet Guts. He's over by the tree or whatever, like the cherry tree or something. It's like, oh, okay. Here, we'll get you dressed up and everything. This is important. And there's a big moment where she kind of starts to well up or whatever, just thinking about him, which is nice. You're like, oh, okay.
Dude, it got me. Like, there's a full page thing of like tears starting to form in her eyes. I'm just like, I can't do it.
I was scared she was back. Still, bent out of shape about him, because like Elaine is scared of Guts, so you're not sure what her feelings are or whatever. So yes, that was nice to see. But man, cliffhanger business goes on here, because it's just like, oh, they're gonna finally see each other again for the first time in forever, and there he is, and they're gonna talk. And then she just kind of starts shaking and has like traumatic memories triggered up again from all the bad times, and then screams.
The picture that like I've seen on a whole bunch, anytime I'm like looking for Berserk stuff, this is like one of the images that comes up in articles and shit. It is the weird shadow version of Guts at the bottom of like the 2 pages, and the eclipse above him, and just like a bunch of weird faces and stuff kind of melding in the background. Yeah. And like that shows, and I was just like, okay, that's probably not good.
Yeah, this probably isn't a great thing going on right now. And she kind of panics immediately and screeches or whatever, and then cut. That's it. That's all we get for this volume of their reunion or whatever. So we don't get to know. Oh. Yeah, that's where I say I was kind of embittered at the second part, because it's like I turned the page and there's like giants or something. I was like, oh, I don't care about this at all. Like, what are we doing? But second time through, I knew that would happen, so I just kind of was like, okay, there's this dramatic beat where you don't get to know yet how it goes or what they talk about or anything, and then I was able to just like appreciate that these giants have like human stuff as armor, which I thought was fun. Like, one's wearing a house on its head, and they have like barrels and stuff as like armor on their arms and legs and whatever, and one guy has just like 50 shields kind of knitted into chainmail or something. But yeah, it's the Jötunn It's like a race of giants or something that Griffith and the Hawk are attacking. And there's just kind of a skirmish or whatever with them, which, another little battle with some beast forming and whatever.
So it's weird because the Jötunn are Nordic. Like, this is going very much into Nordic fantasy territory.
Oh, sure. Okay. Because, you get a bunch with the tree and stuff after, too.
With the Tree of Life and stuff. So, are they just straight up going to steal that shit now? Like, is that the idea? Because they kind of stole every other, like, form of fantasy at this point. So why not, I suppose.
I guess so. Yeah, I didn't really... I was just like, oh, there's these cool giants. They kind of look Tolkien-esque or something to me with their...
They have a Hydra.
Armor. They do have a Hydra, and they defeat it just by shooting it a bunch with arrows, which is weird. But
no, I think they set it on fire. What's his face turns into his giant like crystal dragon form. And
the crystal dragon guy's there. I just remember like bow guy is shooting a bunch as well.
He does shoot them a bunch.
Yeah. So the Jötunn and their Hydra are defeated. I think Griffith himself kind of rides up on their leader and stabs him in the eye. And then,
you're right. Yep.
Yeah, that kind of panics everybody. There's like, I think Sonya kind of telepathically like sends out the message like, "Hey, your leader is dead. You have failed," or whatever. And they're like, "Oh no!" And they retreat. I think there was one page where it was like, "Oh, are they in league with the trolls or something?" Because there was a couple trolls there with the Jötunn. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. But okay, so they're defeated. The army is heading back to Falconia, and it's like, hey, let's take a shortcut. And Sonya,
they use their fast travel system.
They totally do. They use the fast travel system. They climb up into the Erd tree's branches or whatever, and are just kind of like, oh my god, what? We're in the sky. We're walking on air. I don't understand what's happening. Like all these soldiers are so like freaking out. And there's like, this is amazing. We could do all sorts of crazy stuff with this. We could just logistically like pop up behind an enemy or something. This changes warfare. This is amazing. And then Sonya is just like, hey, you can't do this at all without me. Don't you forget it. I'm the best. It's me and Griffith.
I hate Sonya, dude. I hate her. Petulant.
I know you
bitch.
do. So that's why I kind of characterized her a little crappy. But yeah, she basically says like, don't ever try it without us. You'd get lost in the infinite branches and just end up somewhere weird or something.
That's probably fair though. Like,
yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, but I think Griffith's overhearing their conversations like, no, it's true though. We could use it pretty good. Like, but just make sure I'm there or something. Like, there's sort of a little thing. But yeah, they basically like in an hour or something travel untold miles and are arriving back at Falconia. And I don't remember if they really get to do anything once they get back. Like
they're just talking on the way back. Basically, they get to Falconia, I think, at the very last
at the end of the volume. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of interesting that like Stonehenge or what like a thing that looks like Stonehenge is kind of the gateway to that the tree root, the tree branch or whatever. Like I don't know. They're mixing a lot of different real world mythologies and stuff. So that's pretty cool. I like it.
And it, for Loki season 2 fans, now we know what this tree is about. No, whatever. Did you watch that?
Wow. I did. That is an incredible spoiler.
Yeah. There's some tree business at the end of that one. There's a tree. So, see, if we keep it vague enough, people don't know. Whatever. It's a tree.
Yeah, I mean, they know.
Big old
they
tree.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you don't, like, it's been out for a while. What are you doing?
All of this stuff with Griffith, I could give less of a fuck about. Like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, this time through, knowing it was there, I at least got to like, these Jötunn look kind of cool, and like the tree and everything. That's nice, but it's such a come down from like how important and monumental the first part is. Not even so much the dream battling, which is a little light, but once they've finished that and the thing, it's just like, oh my god, this is the moment, this is the thing. And there's a good moment, you get the welling up and everything, you get all the emotional beats with Casca finally talking again and recognizing things, and you get a sense of what she experience that whole time. But it's just a taste of what I wanted, I guess, for this one. It's just like, all I want is just a volume of Casca, like her perspective on all this or something. Like just she is back, and that's we're moving forward finally. But yeah, it was just a little dollop of that, and then it was off to Batlin again. It's like, okay. Weird mix, but yeah.
It's infuriating. Like, to quote GLaDOS in one of her songs, like, I used to want Griffith dead. Now I just want him gone. Like, I don't want anything with him. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't care about you at all. This is so much more important to me right now.
Yeah, the only thing I was trying to thread together with, like, the kind of dog and hawk battle in the dream world was just like, oh, is this like some foreshadowing? Is this like, you know, the ultimate showdown is going to happen, and we're getting sort of like a version of that in this world or whatever? But not yet, and maybe not at all yet. I don't know. I'm not sure if Volume 41 how much we're gonna move forward. But yeah. But hey, that one's at the library, so I can just resume easily.
That'll be an easy one. Yeah, that'll be good. So I thought one thing was kind of interesting. I don't know how they do it subtly in this or anything, but there is such a clear difference in like how they draw Elaine and Casca that when it's like obviously Casca, she like her face looks like a normal human and not like an idiot or like something.
She's not derpy anymore or whatever. Like it's just like she's sharper now or something. Yeah.
So I was wondering, did you notice anything like that, or is this a weird like bias that I'm putting on because I know she's changed now?
You know she's back. Yeah.
I can't tell.
Maybe something in the eyes, like there might be like a narrower thing he's doing when she's like with it, you know?
She's more cat-like. Her eyes are more sharp, definitely.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have an open mouth, which helps.
It might just be the pupils are smaller even or something. Like there's probably some subtle thing he did to differentiate a little bit. It's like, oh, Elaine isn't even focusing on anything, but Casca is, you know? Like looks like if Casca looks at you, you can see the intelligence a little bit just in the eyes. So yeah, there's probably something he was doing. But yeah, you know, still a big moment. Still happy
Huge.
that we finally crossed that. But it was incredibly amazingly galling, dramatic, you know, pacing to just have that moment stop like that. You know, it's like the Sopranos ending or something. It's just like, oh, and it's like, all right. I guess we're gonna fight some giants now. Like I was so like the first time through, just like like the last like 40 pages or whatever were a blur. Like I didn't. It was like they're climbing the tree or something. Whatever.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
So at least the second time it was like, okay, this has some creative potential. You know, this fast traveling and the you know, these giants had novel look to them and everything. But yeah, couldn't have cared less the first time through. So yeah.
I thought this whole like the whole scene of her kind of becoming super magical girl Casca or whatever with her dress and stuff. This is the first time in a while where I really, really felt like I would love to see this animated or like fully colored and moving, because I think this would be a really, really sweet set piece where.
Or like this moment could be bigger, like could be really dramatically flourish, like the music or whatever. Like, there's a lot they could do.
Because she's talking about how when she was Elaine, it was kind of like she was underwater and she was seeing everything through Elaine's eyes, like just below the surface or whatever. Like she couldn't get through. And it's kind of compounded with these really cool scenes of like bubbles and stuff in the water and her memories in each bubble.
Of all the memories of stuff. Yeah,
like
that's
coming
right.
back.
Yeah.
Or I guess like how maybe she saw them at that moment or whatever. And I would love to see that animated. I know that they don't have any animations of this like part, but Jesus, that would be so good.
I think the other half of it too in this is we don't know what Guts is thinking at all in this. You just see him at a distance and he's kind of scary. You don't get him feeling anything in this part of it, so I wonder if we'll get the other half of the moment where like he knows she's back or something. I don't know.
That's a good point. We don't actually get... So Guts is usually, and has been, the main protagonist where we see a lot of, like... He's kind of the dude we're following. We don't follow him at all here. He's an NPC in this volume, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. No, he's at a distance, or the dog version or whatever. We don't really get his perspective on this, because it's a big moment for him too.
For sure.
But yeah, it's a little kind of half of a moment here. So high expectations for 41, I guess. It's got to make good on the other part of this.
One thing I think is kind of important too is that in the dream, the kind of focal center point with the last piece and stuff was the fetus.
Oh yeah, that's right. They do talk about that a little bit too.
I don't know.
Oh, like that's the memory. Like that's the final piece. Yeah, it was finding that.
Well, it was the main cause of the break is the fetus, they said.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what that means. Like, does Casca have that thing inside her? Like, actually, like the devil fetus, devil kid or child? Or is this the fetus that we saw crawling around that was all gross? Is this the star child
egg thing? Yeah.
Like the egg thing? Like, what the fuck is... What version is this thing? Or is this just a weird, like, manifestation of that egg thing in the real world? The child thing.
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
It's a weird device or whatever. But I thought that thing, is what rebirthed Griffith in this world or whatever.
So maybe...
Which is weird, because it was kind of helping them, and it was good for a while. I don't know.
So maybe in the real world, it's a thing, but it also was, like, dream come, basically. He birthed the dream child that broke her.
It's like Freddy's dream child. It's kind of, a vessel for, or right. Chucky, it's like that. There's a lot of horror logic here. No.
Yeah. I don't Five know. Nights at Freddy's dream child.
Yeah, that's coming eventually. That's the fourth one once they finish this contract. Yeah, we shouldn't segue into talking about that movie.
No.
Okay. Sorry, my other was just like kind of realizing how little Shirka and Farnese like know Casca for real. Just like, I guess she was a warrior or something. I don't know. Like they have no knowledge of her past, because Guts isn't a chatty guy, so he could have told them, but it's too painful. You can't deal with that. So and the Guts theme plays, and that's it.
There's that cool moment too where like they're saying like, okay, this is like her true form, essentially. Her like, she has like this kind of aura around her, as they're like seeing her for the first time, essentially. Whereas like, no, she's like way different. This is an actual person.
Yeah. Not just this thing I've been babysitting forever. When did we lose her really, like in publication history? Like how many years is it between that and now?
Oh, I can tell you in a second as soon as I...
Yeah, you said this was 2018.
It would have been the eclipse, right?
Yeah, pretty much since the eclipse is when her mind broke. So...
the eclipse. So we have the feast. The one who hunts dragons, she was already broken. Whatever. 97.
Oh, man.
So 20 years.
21 years. Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad that we did this all at one time, because even just the 1 year was incredible agony. I couldn't have done that.
So it is kind of like the Twin Peaks return, where it's like 1992, like Coop is gone. To be fair,
everything is kind of like the Twin Peaks return. Yeah,
it's kind of like the return.
Kind of like Alan Wake.
It's kind of like, well, yeah. That was only 13 years, so whatever. But yeah, it's like the Finnish version of Twin Peaks is that video game. And then this is the Japanese version of Twin Peaks, really. But you thought it was Deadly Premonition, but it was actually Berserk the whole time. So weird. But yeah, so much to anticipate in the next one, which is the most recently translated to English one, or 42
That's episode 42.
Okay, yeah.
So, or volume 42. We're on 41 next, which would have been fact, I can tell you because I have it up here. I just got to scroll. 2021. So this would have been 3 years later. Released in English in 2022. So last year.
Yeah. Just
which is actually the release of
times,
that in English in 2022 was kind of what was kickstarting me wanting to go through all of this to kind of catch up.
Gotcha. And I still haven't played Elden Ring, so I just don't know how much is in there. You know, this tree and everything, I'm assuming, is in there somehow. Or that's the DLC. You can play as Roundhead Prisoner Griffith. That's literally the one of the opening. You know the class that has like 0 points in anything, the like blank slate. Oh, yeah.
It's that class for Elden Ring. Is that?
Oh,
him.
dope. Great.
Yeah.
Love that guy. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Know.
Yeah, it's really
he used to be cool, man, before it all happened. Actually, maybe not. You know?
No.
He always had this weird ambition. He just put a good, face on it for a long time. So yeah.
Yeah.
What a dirtbag. But anyway,
but an absolute piece of crap for sure. This was a great volume. This is obviously one of my favorites because the thing happened. Like, I'm so happy.
The thing did happen. I guess, the structure of it still was a bit galling to me. And I just found the stakes of the dream battles a little low. But, yeah, it's an important piece for sure. But, we'll see how this all goes next time around. Do you want to mention the email and stuff or any queries sitting around?
There is for Pixel Response. There was also an email we got about the Berserk bingo card to try filling it out. I'm going to be honest with you. When I did that bingo card, I closed that site like right after we finished the podcast episode and didn't save it.
Well, we have audio of what we said, so we
have audio of it. Or if somebody like wanted to write it down and give it to me, I would do it for the next one. But I wasn't going to go back and
I know
find all that stuff.
I don't think there's any boobs in this one, so there's that.
There definitely is. No, there's Casca.
Was
naked in a lot of spots.
Eclipse memories.
No, when she's transforming back into the doll or.
Oh well, yeah, the doll I guess is sure okay, yeah.
Like if you wanted to say there's like not any overly sexualized boobs, probably that's correct.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Because,
guts sort of dog guts goes berserk, so that happens.
I went berserk that they fucking cut right from the big thing that I've been waiting all year to read, but
no Magnifico, no Chestnut Puck or anything really. And pretty much none of the ancillary characters like Isidro and all
at
those. All. Yeah, nobody's appearing in this. This is the big moment for the main two.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And for the Giants as well, I guess.
Yeah, it's their big moment where they get smoked by the Band of the Hawk. I was rooting for them though. I like their style, but they did not
cool.
manage. Yeah.
They're cohesive, unlike the Band of the Hawk, where they're all a different type of monster.
Yeah, they're just kind of these big bearded guys with, kind of DIY armor, which was charming.
Yeah, and a Hydra.
And which was a little discordant. That's weird. Yeah, why was that there?
A little bit.
But, Dragon's Dogma has one, so,
So everybody should.
Yeah.
But Dragon's Dogma has one. No, we have Hydras at home.
Everybody's copying Dragon's Dogma now. It's the hot new thing.
Everybody. Exactly.
Dragon's Dogma 2 coming soon. But yeah.
I'm excited for that. I'm also excited to read Volume 41. I need to see what the scream was about and if Guts actually says a single word to Casca.
Yeah. Like, what's it? Will he finally well up and be tender for a minute,
He should.
He should, yeah. Just stop bottling up all the time, man. It's okay.
Imagine not crying. What type of dickbag you'd have to be.
Yeah, jeez. Get in touch with your emotions, Guts. It's not healthy. But yeah, and predictions. Do you think it's like, you know what, Casca's all he needs? They're just gonna retire. Not worry about it. Not gonna fight Griffith. It's fine. Just leave it.
I'm wondering if this is part of the what she wants might not be what you want, where like she wants to be happy and there's no way she can be because anytime she sees Guts, she is like haunted by what happened.
Yeah.
Now that all her memories came back. Because like, yeah, it's easy when you're not faced with a trigger for like the PTSD. You can remember all the good times. And then as soon as you see him, all of the bad memories came back too. And now we get to focus on that and how it ruined her as a person.
One of my notes is just Guts is a trauma trigger or whatever.
He is.
And it's like, yeah, he totally was. So
legitimately.
Hopefully they can work through that. Maybe Elfhelm's a good place for some therapy. So they'll be able to mentally shore up a bit before the quest to Valconia or whatever's up next for them. So, yeah.
I'm kind of weirdly excited to see the others, I'll just refer to them as, all like talk to Casca and like kind of see like who she fits in with and like who.
How will they deal with real Casca? What will they admire about her? Will she teach Isidro some sword stuff or something? Does she still have all that skill?
Right.
It's weird. Yeah. There's a lot of possibilities there.
And we finally have another person who remembers what Griffith did. Because Griffith is beloved by everybody in this world.
Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about? The hero that saved everything? It's like, oh, well, all right. We're the two people that know at what cost because we got the brand and everything. So.
You know what I imagine it's like is talking, like if you go on a date with like a 16-year-old or something, and then they're talking about like Five Nights at Freddy's and you're trying to talk about like MTV or something. It's just like, what's that? What's a telephone? What's the radial telephone or whatever, like.
Okay, just like a gap in
you just can't relate to anybody, so it's like Casca is Guts's like fellow aged millennial, like close to 40-year-old, where they can talk about the good old days and when Griffith was cool, but he's kind of a dirtbag and nobody else seems to understand that.
Or depending on like which state you're in and you're talking about Trump or something. Or like, it's like,
sure.
What? You mean the hero that saved America? It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I gotta go.
Griffith made, I don't remember where they live, Azeroth great again, whatever. I can't remember the name of their world.
Oh man, it's like Midland or something, isn't it?
Midland, yeah.
Yeah.
Make Midland great again. He made Midland great again. Yeah.
Like, I mean, Falconia seems kind of dope, but, it's built on corpses or whatever, yeah.
There is...
I just wonder if they'll be able to successfully tear the veil and people will see Griffith for what he is, or if everyone's going to be against them. There's just these two crazy people that hate the president. Like, he's so great. He built all these roads or whatever. Like, he's the hero. But despite hanging out with demons, Yeah.
Do you think they go the route of we have to learn to just forgive Griffith and move on because hate begets more hate sort of thing?
Well, yeah, I was sort of joking, but that's sort of the thing, like the choice before Guts, right? Is just like, well, do you just, choose that Casca is what's important and your friends are what important and you just put that behind you? Or is it like, no, I have to write this. I have to stop that guy, Plus, I don't know that he has to, he feels he has to stop him because he's mad at the way the world is going or anything. It's just for what he did. It's purely like a crime of the past kind of thing.
It's purely revenge. That's all it is.
Yeah. It's not like, no, this government system in Falconia is corrupt or something. It's like, he doesn't care. It's just like, no, I saw what he did. I have to kill that guy. Like, he earned the death penalty 50 times over. So I got to get after it.
There's this weird conversation to have, too. Like that the way things are set now, if you kill Griffith, you probably doom all of humanity to every monster that exists.
Yeah, like they've torn this veil and all these monsters are everywhere, and it's just like, well, we're gonna go take down the cops or whatever. Like we're gonna get rid of the law enforcement because they're evil. But then you're tipping the balance in favor of, unless now Guts has to be some sort of super sheriff that also fights all that stuff. Like, that's what he earns.
Yeah. They go AGAB.
The marshal.
All Griffiths are bastards.
That's right.
All Griffiths.
Defund Falconia or something.
Or all guts are berserk. A-gab.
Yeah.
It's like aloha. It means hello and goodbye.
I can't top that. I think we gotta call it a show.
We should again, if you want to write in, it's ihavegoneberserk@gmail.com. Otherwise, I think that's going to be it for an episode. So aloha and agab to you, dear listener. We'll see you next time.